Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Another start to the week. We are here in August, so officially getting the season kicked off here just in a few weeks. Really, really excited. As you guys come into the chat, you know what to do. Hit that like button. If you're watching me and you're not subscribed yet, I asked for your subscription if I've earned it. And like I said, I always say it's free to show love. I really appreciate everybody coming in to tap into today's rewatch. We are continuing the rewatch series. We are now at Texas versus Florida, and this is a game in which Texas, obviously was at a point coming into the game having a couple back to back, obviously the loss at home to Georgia and then the win, a frustrating win, but a win at Vanderbilt. This was like a get right game in a lot of ways. Uh, and within context, obviously Florida, who had gone up against Georgia the week before, ended up real shorthanded in this game. DJ Lagway, will he, won't he? He ends up not playing. Several of their receivers, several DBs, guys on lines that sat this game for Florida. And it's interesting, and I bring that up because I said it then. I felt like Florida punted on this game so that they could figure out how to be strong in their last three games of the year to get to bowl eligibility, which they were able to do. They end up winning their last three games after this 49-17 ass whooping in DKR. They get their guys back against LSU the following week. They go in big upset there. Then the Ole Miss, the Jackson Dart fourth quarter fiasco happens. And then Florida went belt to ass on Florida State. And then they ended up winning their bowl game against Tulane. So they ended up finishing the year 8-5, won four straight to finish the season. So they're coming into this season with a 4-game winning streak. They start their year with LIU and then USF, so they probably are going to be on a 6-game winning streak before they go to Death Valley to play LSU. And then right after that, they go LSU, Miami, and then us. Right? So very, very interesting when you start to look at this. And this Florida game, while a lot of backups and stuff played, a lot of the guys that did play in this game are guys that are part of their 2 deep now, right? And so guys that we will see in our SEC opener, same with us, right? We had a lot of guys end up playing in this game. Arch makes an appearance at the end, but this game was a one of Quinn Ewers' best performances, especially at DKR. Quinn goes for 330 something yards, 5 touchdowns. So he ends up having a really, really nice performance as we were looking to get back on track in the SEC race. That also means we only have 3 regular season games left after today, right? So we have Kentucky, Arkansas, and then A&M before we finish out the regular season of this series. So appreciate you guys coming in here. We will get to it. Oh, before I actually get to it, before we get to it, I would be remiss if I did not comment on 2 things. And one of them, Hookem from Arkansas said, first off, the coaches poll that came out today, Texas being ranked number 1 in the country in the coaches poll, which is cool honor, big deal. I don't know if we've ever we've been talking about on this channel the last time we were ranked number 1 going into a season and how long ago if that's happened before, but we know that's the case now, right? And then Ohio State being ranked number 2, so I had a feeling they were going to do this, but I think with our week 1 showdown and the historical ramifications of a number 1 playing a number 2 in week 1 is crazy, especially when one of those teams is a national champion, especially when both of those teams played in the college football semifinal. There's a lot of historical precedent there now for week 1 with them being ranked 1 and 2. I think it also speaks to how these coaches feel about both of these rosters, considering the amount of NFL talent both schools lost. Think about that. They're coming in here 1 and 2. Both will have new quarterbacks. Ohio State's going to have new running backs. new offensive line, new defensive line, and they are still same with Texas, right? Both hitting the portal, both having that depth in their program. So I think that's one thing that is really, really exciting to see is how heavily regarded these teams are, even with the new faces that will be out there on both sides, right? So that speaks a lot to what they're still bringing back firepower wise, the star talent, the big name talent, right? You can make the argument there's, you know, four players, potentially 4 or 5 players that are the top 10 players overall, pound for pound in college football, maybe on that football field between Texas and Ohio State. Real rap. So that's pretty cool. Like JB said, 11 a.m. is crazy, but that's that Big Ten, big, high noon nonsense. And since they have the game, when we get this game in 2026 in Austin, that's going to be a night game. I'll tell you that right now. So that's just, it is what it is. But it's crazy though. At least that night we'll be able to watch Clemson and LSU uninterrupted, which will be number 6 Clemson versus number 9 LSU. So if you guys haven't seen the coaches poll that came out today, Texas is ranked number 1, Ohio State's ranked number 2. I think Penn State was number 3. I think Georgia was up there. Notre Dame, obviously. Clemson at 6. LSU was in the top 10. So, but you can go check that out. The other thing is get well soon, Andre Kojo. He was announced being out for the season with a torn ACL, it sounded like, or knee injury. So that sucks. He was one of our young pups that was really, really coming on, battling Brandon Baker for right tackle. Even in the spring, some of the reports we were hearing were outstanding for Kojo and his development. And that was a guy very similar to Trevor Gooseby, who wasn't the highest star-rated recruit, but had the measurables and the profile that Kyle Flood loves, right? And was a younger guy. So now, the Jaden Chapmans of the world, the Brookses of the world, those guys got to step up and be cross-trained at both tackle positions. Trevor Gooseby was asked to play both tackle positions last season and did it, right? So this is why we cross-train guys. I don't want to hear excuses about, this guy can only play on this side. That's why we cross-train. So, I know Jaden, I've really only seen Jaden play on the left side. I need him and Brooks to get reps on the right side. Like, it's got to go both ways. So, it sucks though. Get well soon, Andre Kojo. It sucks to have those injuries in camp, especially with us going, obviously into padded practices and stuff now. So, yeah. And it sucks for the kid, right? I know I'm not, in terms of the team, we can move forward. But for the kid, I was excited for him. I love his family. I love, what the work he's put in. So that sucks. Let's get to the Florida game though and watch some ball. Again, this is a Florida team that ended up finishing 8-5. And no Lagway here. So they ended up starting Aiden Warner in this game, who was terrible. He was their third string quarterback because Graham Mertz had already torn his ACL at this point. Let me set the stage before we even get to the offensive play. Graham Mertz, obviously he was a 7th round pick along with our guy, but Graham Mertz is already gone. Lagway didn't, went down in the Georgia game. So but this is a game where I was impressed with just Texas handling their business, right? Regardless of Florida's situation, one could say we played with our food in the Vanderbilt game. So getting that focus back, getting right, getting that physicality, getting those explosive plays back, all those things, were on full go in this game. So let's get it. And like you guys said, we've been tracking. Yeah, he was a transfer from Yale. He's still there, by the way. They brought in Harrison Bailey, who's been all over the place. He was at Tennessee, Louisville, um, and another school. But they have Harrison Bailey as their backup now. Okay, so we go essentially bubble screen out to DeAndre Moore, first play of the game. We've been tracking that, right? So we go back to a lateral play. I think we did a lateral type east west type play in the Vanderbilt game. I think this one we did similar concept. So interesting, but we get the chains moving first down. So that's good stuff by execution and blocking out there. Let me go back a little bit so we can see the play. Got Gunnar Helm out there. Really open it up too. We got Helm flexed. Back-to-back completions to DeAndre Moore. Got him going. And he just beats 7 right across his face. That's what you want, by the way. Well, that's what we were trying to do in the Georgia game. And Isaiah Bond didn't beat the guy across his face, Humphrey. Very good throw by Quinn. That was on a rope. You see how many guys they had out. They had 4 starters missing in this game for Florida. But that was a very good throw by Quinn to Gunnar Helm. Playing with good pace. First down completion to Juan Davis. Then we go pass out to Wisner. Wisner finished with 1,000 yards rushing and has zero yards rushing in this game, which is crazy. Now he had yards through the air and a big touchdown, but he had 0 yards rushing in this game. We're running kind of like power over there. What the hell? Did they just have the right call? Castile is good. Number 14 on Florida, by the way. He's going to be a good player. Let's see. They pulled. What do I always tell you guys? I say it all the time. When you see the guard pull, if you play defense in high school or whatever, if you want to rack up tackles for loss, anytime you see the guard pull, they will take you to the football. More times than not. Like anytime you can really get underneath there. Ugh. So we take a sack, 3rd down and 10. Really, this is a good drive, and then we get going backwards, starting with that run play. Where 24 follows the guard and the tight end. So now we're in what? 3rd and 10. Okay. We took a timeout. Play clock was down. No worry, H post was good. All right, let's see here. So DJ and Cam are working outside. Is this a 3-on-2? No, it's 2-on-2. They ran a game and we didn't pick it up. See, that's we got to pass that off. We got to pass that off better when they run a game like that. It's 2-on-2, but old boy just looped over the other one and got inside DJ Campbell. We got to handle that better. We got to handle that better. Now let me look at the rest of the pocket. Those are the biggest things that DJ has struggled with in his career is just the handoff on a game. Other than that, I mean, he's not been bad in pass pro, in my opinion. What is going on? Play this thing. He hasn't been bad in pass pro. It's stuff like that though because that's also communication. And I get it. The guy engaged with Cam and then bends off. Well, actually, nah. He 24 went up. 24 went up on him. Wisner goes to the other side. Yeah, our pass pro was janky right there. I'm just gonna let the tape play. He's not our kicker anymore, so it is what it is. All right, bad quarterbacks. You got to make bad quarterbacks pay. Somebody like Aiden Warner, don't even let the guy get in rhythm. So they come out, bubble, and this is what I expect. And it's bad quarterbacks and young quarterbacks. When we play Ohio State, I really expect them when at least early in the game. Now Florida can run the ball. This is what I'm worried about even this year because Florida ran the rock in this game. Jaden Ball's good. Slaughter's good. Slaughter's one of the best centers in the SEC. So that's one thing they can do. Good job, Trey Moore. But let me the fall off of Burt needs to be studied. But I want to say this. You see the very, very quick, high percentage throw, get the ball out. Again, see the ball going. Same thing we do with our guys. I expect that from Ohio State, just trying to get the ball in the playmaker's hands with Julian Sand, assuming it's him, right? We don't know whoever the quarterback is. So those are the things where I'm like, I really want to make the guy uncomfortable and take those things away without gambling and giving up just a easy beater down the field, right? You don't want to overcorrect, but I really really want us to be aggressive at the line of scrimmage early in the game because I do expect them to be very very lateral. But that's a great job by Trey Moore. Donations, what's up, Quentin? Donations, 2nd and 12. Get out there, Trey Moore. Donations. Quinn, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a little bit. How you doing? Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Really means a lot. Share watching ball. Thank you, Quentin. 3rd and 15, third and a mile. We only sent 3. Was that DK that they threw shallow cross underneath to? I think it was. But that's a good job, open field tackle. Silas, baby. It's a good decision. That's the versatility that we have with Trey Moore. 100%. Why are we buffering? Anyway, while that's doing its thing, I don't know why it's been. You've been grinding college 26. How's 26 versus 25? I mean, I haven't been able to play because I don't have I've been out the game with the system with all the work travel and stuff. But let me know how's that what is going on? Why are we struggling? I may need to reload this. Trash. It's trash. Damn, that's tough. What's trash about it compared to the year before? I'm curious. Stadium Pulse got them brothers shook out there, huh? All right, second drive. Florida did take a little clock. Oh, baby. How did we miss that? Was Cormani McLean the one that fell down? Okay, so we get him. Those are the layups we can't miss this year. That should have been a pick. Damn, Quinn. It's RPO. That's a bad. Yeah, he's throwing blind. That kid's right there in that zone underneath. Damn, got lucky. All right, 3rd and 10. We got great pocket. Hey, we're good. Hey, look at my guy. I think this is this the one we went for with Gibson from our own. Let's see what's going on. So they bail into a 3 high type deal. May have had the check down early, but we need 10. So yeah, this is the play we did. We went for it with Gibson. Like I said, he's our best short yardage back. Excellent job. Look at his feet. He's keeping his feet going. Good job protecting the ball. We know that's been a challenge for him. Technically, didn't even get tackled. Now we got the big reverse that everybody, including the Chiefs, copied. And that's one thing that Quinn was very, very good at is his ball handling, which is why he's a good fit for Miami Dolphins because they do a lot of this type of stuff, a lot of misdirection. Quinn did a great job with his play fakes, and then obviously Isaiah Bond out in the open field with blockers is crazy. I think I'm just gonna have to keep refreshing this, but it is what it is. One sec, guys. You can run that play with Wingo. You can run that play with Wingo. I mean, we ran something similar in the Cotton Bowl, not like this, but where he got out on the edge. And I know they're not 4-4, not even 4-4, but 4-3 guys, but um, some of the freshmen too. I'd say Butler's probably the fastest out of that group. Livingstone has deep speed though, because he was a 200-meter track guy, so they're all fast. But we've seen Wingo, at least game speed wise, we've seen Wingo run that. And that was a walk. That was that was a layup touchdown. So we ended up missing on one earlier, but we get it back to Matthew Golden. Two back, which that's not going away. I can see Sark using a lot of two back this year with this group. Wisner and Baxter, Wisner, Clark back like Niblet, right? You saw Niblet on that drive. You saw Jaden Blue on that drive. I mean, right now they're in 21 personnel. And this is a lot of the cool stuff that they do. And look, some of that stuff is also influenced. If you see some of the alignments, some of that stuff was influenced by what we learned from Brennan Marion in the go-go offense. A lot, some of those plays, that's what you see a lot of in Brennan Marion's offense. Good job, Manny. I feel like people are a little too down on him right now, but that was really good coverage. Warren Roberson in the game. It's a lot of people getting reps. It's third and what is this? Third and 10, third and 15 with that penalty. Wow. Ball on the carpet. Trey Moore, Johnny on the spot. Great job. Great. I mean, great ability to just get the ball off the carpet like that. Was that Jacoby Jackson that fumbled? Yeah. Who got the strip? Is that Taff? Michael Taff forced that fumble? Oh, we got the penalty on us. Blocking the back. But we still get the turnover. So short field, woohoo. Great job defense. Shots. Oh, hey, those are our patented wheel routes. Jaden Blue probably gets that. Oh my God, that's beautiful right there. See that right there is like veteran QB play. Don't hesitate. Screw your play fake. Screw all that. Like they're not lined up correctly. See, Quinn doesn't even carry out the entire fake because he sees how open that crease is. You know, some of these young guys will ride out the fake like an idiot. Like if he's open, hit him. Gunnar Helm's running to space. So 2 layup TDs to in this game. And I remember Florida's communication with them missing some guys. Their comms were bad in this game with the people that were in there that were replacing them. Let's see. Manny, good tackle. Was it 2nd and 7? Sorry, we were struggling with this today. Mm-mm-mm. Sure, we'll just let it play from here. Try not to mess with it too much. I agree, H Post. It was a really good decision for him to punt this game and get those boys healthy because they came out there, they were a completely different team versus LSU. Sadir Mitchell was in the game. They can run the ball though. Don't get it twisted. You see this freshman here, 13, he's gonna be a problem this season. Appreciate it, CFB picks. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Donations. Great job, defensive line. Lole just got better and better throughout the year, but even Alfred Collins dug on that one. 3rd and 8. Trey Moore's getting active. Good tackle, Jade Barron. He's short. That was a 6-yard pass. Thank you, CFB picks. Yeah, we're gonna keep it up. We're only 3 more games left in the regular season after this one. Yeah, I agree. Scoring off turnovers is always huge, Richard. Always huge. No, but Billy, a lot of coaches play in Texas. right? Always want to beat Texas, this, that, and the third. Would have risked it all against us and put it in, then messed up the rest of their season. Billy Napier didn't do that. He punted. He really was like, nah, I'm not gonna have these guys go out there and get beat up more. We're gonna have an extra bye week for my starters. That's fine. Now it's gonna be interesting this year, um, what this offense looks like with, if assuming Lagway's healthy, because y'all know I feel as though his his health is in question as far as I'm concerned. And like was stated earlier, they do play LSU and Miami before we go to them. All right. It's our fourth drive, I think, or third drive. Because we had a short field. It's a third drive. Holding call. Who's the holding on? Kelvin Banks? I don't ever remember him getting called for holding. All right, a little tight end screen. There's nothing there. They read that well. Third and 20. So Florida's running a lot of games up front. They only sent four, but they were running a lot of games up front. So see, look at this. 20. They did it. They were a little sloppy on that one. They didn't do it as clean as they did before when they got the sack on third down to force that 51-yard field goal. DK with the so they got good field position here, right? Shot. That's where they hit DK, who's now in the NFL. So let's see how they. So he's coming out of that release. Ooh, and then got across us. We didn't communicate that one well. And then they run the and then they forget their play. Oh, I wanted to see that play again. No, I don't want to mess it up, but because that was a really nice release by that guy. Mm-mm-mm. Was that on first down that they ran that? Let's see. I think they ran that on first down. Yeah, they ran that on first down. Took a shot. It's a good play call. Short field. That was a good time. A lot of people at the line of scrimmage take a shot. So look, I mean, look at us. We're fooled. We had three people come up to play run, and then they do that. Wow. Good tackle, Mo Blackwell. Oh my goodness. Yeah. When you don't get a whole lot of reps. Oh yeah, they did do this with Jaden Ball. Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons on the tackle. Third and 3. Great job. That's a good job situational run, right? Short yardage. We're trying to hold up this point of attack. Alfred Collins just that's an NFL play. And then they smoked this. Did they go for this? Did they kick this field goal or did they? I think they missed this field goal. College kickers. That guy's not even a bad kicker, but yeesh. All right, get another one. Play action. Trey Wisner. Jeez, he's underrated breaking tackles in the open field. By the way, Wisner is very underrated breaking tackles in the open field. I know he didn't have a good run game in this game, but even throw game still, just anything out in space. Good throw, Quinn. That's a very good throw. Good route too by Bond. Shot play, DeAndre. That's the consistency I'm talking about. We got to catch those. Got to catch those. That's inexcusable. Double move. You smoked him. Smoked him on the double. We got to catch that clean. That's my only thing with DeAndre Moore that he's got to really improve is the consistency. We know he can catch the ball. That's not the problem. It's the consistency. Yes, he did have to wait on that a little bit, but at his level, you got to make that catch. No excuses. He did have to wait a little bit, but that can't be the excuse on why you dropped that. What if the quarterback's getting hit and he barely got that out, right? And you had to wait. Like, I don't want to hear stuff just because of the slightest bit of inconvenience. Now that right there, I like the route because again, he's open. I think Arch puts that on a little bit more of a rope though. That's you know, but I like to see those beaters. Those are. I mean, think about that. Yeah, that was overthrown. But I also want to see that more. I mean, but it's hard. You have to have a very strong arm to drive and rip a rope even on a post like that, like kind of like skinny post to really rip it. If he rips that ball, it's a touchdown. But he's trying to gun it. That's where the arm talent thing comes into play too. When you try to start gunning the footballs, it's like the same thing with a kicker when they try to kick it super low to drive the ball versus a guy that can just has a bigger leg. He doesn't need to drive the ball. He just will use his natural motion. It's the exact same thing with arm talent, right? We both can throw the ball 50 yards, but if I have to crow hop to throw the ball 50 yards and you can naturally just layer it 50 yards, we have two different. It's completely different. It's a completely different thing. So just keep that in mind. But I think Arch has enough RPMs to put mustard on those. Okay, so we sent a heater on first down, which was smart, right? Last possession, they did what? They took a shot. So PK's adjustment was first down again. I'm not letting him get set to plant his feet and make a good throw. That's the subtleties of coaching. PK sent a heater. He sent safety blitz on first down because that's the best time for them to take a shot. Silas, baby. Silas, baby. There's our little throwback screen. We did it faster though. Wisner's off and running, touchdown. John, no, they wouldn't have won with Lagway because they were still missing five people on defense, bro. Stop. DJ Lagway doesn't play defense for Florida. They still would have got cooked. They still would have got cooked. John, you always move the goalpost no matter what. Watch when we do A&M in a few days, you gonna sit up here and tell me, well, we would have beat Texas if we had Johnny Manziel. That's what you want, bro. Let's live in reality, my brother. Let's live in. I know it's difficult for some of you Texas A&M fans, but let's try to live in reality. DJ Lagway, whether he's playing or not, he's not stopping that screen pass that just went for a 50-yard touchdown. By the way, I don't see him tackling Trey Wisner in the open field. 21 skunk back to looking dominant, playing with some swagger. Play action. That's a good play on first down for Florida. Jacoby Jackson. Another run by Jackson. Got called for a chop block. Oh, that was us. That was on Gilbo. So we got Kobe Black in the game. Layfowl came on a heater. So we're being very aggressive on first down. Very, very aggressive on first down. But look at the push. Just pay attention to that. Look at the push Florida's getting on their runs. I'm going to run that back real quick. Look at the entire line of scrimmage on second and 10. Was that second and 10? I'm telling y'all now because this is something we got to pay attention to this season. They can run the ball. I'm going to keep saying it. Look at the offensive line on second down. There's just stuff to pay attention to. That's a push, guys. That's the type of push we're looking for. Like, no nonsense. They moved the entire defensive line 5 yards. The guy didn't even break any tackles. Like, they're running the rock. Tight end gets in there. Now, he didn't block Anthony Hill all the way, but, Anthony Hill's a dog. He fights to that block. But, look at this. They're getting pushed. Film don't lie. This guy's Warner stinks. He doesn't know what's going on, but that's a good blitz pickup. Who is that? Trey Moore. They didn't give credit. Trey Moore didn't get credit for that sack for whatever reason. I think he got back to crawled back to the line of scrimmage. That one he got the ball out. So when we got into passing downs, we were able to hunt. Third and 14. This is where we want to live. Now we send Jalen Gilbo. One of the best plays of the year from him, and it's well timed. Well timed. That's how good Jade Barron used to be with that nickel blitz when he played that position. Gilbo sometimes struggles having the proper timing on it because you got to sync it up perfectly. There, he did it. There was no way that guard was going to be able to slide over. There was no way that guard was able to slide over and get Gilbo. This is an interesting move by our coaching staff too, right? It's third and 4. We get called, or they get called for holding. We accept it, right? We could have taken to push them back, and then we get a sack. That's big time, right? Because we could have declined it and made them kick, but we actually played the down again, and then sent a heater. And that's a great job by Trey Moore too, widening out to create the lane. Look how much he widens out. 65. There's no way 65 can get back inside because he widens out so much. He knows that heater's coming off of his hip. That's good football. Good team ball. Team defense. Setting somebody else up to make a play. Screen of Matthew Golden. Quinn goes sidearm to get it there. That's nice. Pump. Oof. But Jaden Blue's fast as shit. We lucky. That wasn't a great, like, that guy's kind of there, but he's not, because Jaden Blue is just, that's Sonic, man. If this guy in the league can just have average ball handling, ball security. I'm not saying he's going to turn into, you know, somebody that never ever like Bijan never fumbles. I don't even think Bijan had a fumble last year in Atlanta. Like, I'm not saying that, but if Blue, I mean, he's so talented. Hell of a catch, Matthew Golden. Speaking of talent, this is also just talent going off right now. I mean, the ball's over the other shoulder. He just flips. He flips around like it's nothing. Flips around like it's nothing. Actually, I want to go back to the. These are some of our fun plays of the year. Going back to the Blue thing. We had Selly set up for days in this game. It was crazy. I didn't get to go all the way back to the Jane Blue thing, but it's okay. Florida, yeah, and those guys, they're trying to talk to each other. They just had this. I mean, Cormani's getting cooked. He's getting cooked. He really should have gave up an 80-yarder to Bond on the other side, but we airmailed the throw. This time, he's getting cooked again on the other side. Growing pains. Like Matthew Golden's coming at you, brother. You got to turn and run. So no, I know you're playing a zone, but shit, you're not going to take, like, Gunnar Helm's already been passed off. What are you doing? You got to run. He's still looking. He's still looking at Gunnar Helm. Interesting. So 28-0, 1 minute left before half. I mean, that's what you want. There goes that vaunted Florida run game again. But they're in 2-minute offense. And we get the pick. Anthony Smith, freshman, linebacker. Look at the ball skills there. Trey Moore getting back there. Alfred Collins gets I think he actually deflected that. It's a great job. Team defense again. Don't give bums hope. Don't give bums any hope. That's good ball skills from a linebacker. That's a good job. I mean, we've seen. I mean, Trey Moore is even getting active again. I know he didn't. He didn't like. There's just a sea of orange around Warner in that pocket. Like we're getting pressure, and that's right before halftime. Right, another turnover. Silas, baby, gets out of bounds. Freaking dog. Freaking dog. Spin move. Stiffy. Y'all can't. Some of y'all don't even have the stick work on a controller to do all that. What Silas just did. DeAndre, we got to catch it clean this year, buddy. That's what I'm saying. DeAndre could have had 10 touchdowns last year as as a role player. He had seven. He had seven, and had these type of plays in his resume where he's done all the hard part. Now you just got to catch it clean. If when the consistency comes, like don't let that ball get to your face mask. Use your hands, brother. Dang it! What the heck's going on? Cut out before the next touchdown. I mean, he juggled it so bad that he went all the way out of the end zone, juggling the ball, even with the space that he had. What is going on? Anyway, this thing is not cooperating well today. Mm-mm-mm. I expect DeAndre to clean to eat on all those next year or this year. Excuse me, not next year. This year. I don't think we'll have the same issue. Immediately after tipping the pass, Alfred Collins started to look for someone to block. If Gilbo did that, yeah. I mean the Gilbo one though was so bang bang too. I mean, I wish he did, but I think he gets a little too much heat for that. I agree with Kieran. It was a really great run by Jaden Blue. It was a bang bang thing. Yes, you want your players to instinctively do that, but I mean, I feel like we've beaten him up so much about it. This is actually a good push by the offensive line now. It's a better job. I know we're moving out in space. 35-0 half is crazy, even with the guys that are out. Like Billy didn't sign up for that, even with punting. Some of his guys. I don't think he expected to win the football game, but I think he expected his team to be competitive. And that's when the dumbass announcer whoever that was didn't realize that Jordan Whittington was on the Rams. Kind of like he was like, "Why is that guy wearing a Rams jersey?" I actually remember that on the broadcast. I think it was Joe. I don't think it was. It wasn't Jesse Palmer. I think it was Joe. Fun fact: Undertaker's daughter is in the same flag football league or thing in Austin as um, Tran and them. Saw them at a tournament. His daughter, that is. I didn't see the Undertaker that day, but he does come to some of the games. Tran and I was with Tran and BA yesterday. They came up here for a flag football tournament at AT&T Stadium. The game I went to, they went full belt to ass on somebody. They won like 27-7. So I was happy for the boys. I wonder how tall his daughter. All right, third quarter, Florida gets the ball. I'm not going to pause it too much since we're already up by a lot. I want just the notable stuff. I would say our kick return as a whole last year was not good. Um, Punt, kickoff, both. Like I mean, Matthew Golden is a very good kick returner, and we had holding on a lot of explosive returns, all sorts of issues. I'm gonna reset this thing real quick, guys. So just hang on one sec. Um, we had a lot of issues, a lot of issues with kick return last year. And we were one of the better teams. I mean, this is a year removed from Xavier Worthy being an All-American kick returner, and guys like Keelan Robinson returning kicks. So to go from, I definitely feel that was a one-off situation there. I don't think that's the standard per se for us, but it is frustrating that it is frustrating that we struggled so much returning kicks as it is, because Silas deserved better. I'm with you there. Silas definitely deserved better. 100%. This is why you see the way Florida's. This is why Lagway is so dangerous in this scheme, because when you can run the ball downhill like that, was that Makuba? Who was that got the pick? Yeah, he wanted a pick six. I don't blame him. Anytime Florida's not running the ball, they're just it's bad. It's really really bad. Outside of a couple chunk plays, anytime they're not running the football, it's bad. But this is the reason why I'm saying that. Yeah, Sadir is in there now, but the reason why I'm saying that tip pass too. So two tip picks. That's good. We want to be active at the line of scrimmage. Um, but when you're able to run the ball downhill like that, yeah, Cam got hurt. I don't know if Cam was ever the same later in the season at all. Goosby's in the game now at right tackle. But when you're able to run the ball like that, that's why they were able to play action and take one-on-one shots, deep posts, deep goes, because they were running the ball well with Lagway, and he throws a great deep ball. So that marriage that they have, that's why that's a one of the big reasons why they were able to hit on so many explosives, because they can run they what they were able to do at the line of scrimmage in their run game. Good shit, Isaiah Bond. See, that's what an athlete's supposed to look like with the rock. We just ran a different variation of that screen with getting all those linemen out there in space. We did it twice. Sark was like, nah, run it again, but do it this way. 42-0 against Florida. I never thought I'd see that. Look at that. Anytime they run the ball, they get in 7, 8 yards. Look at this. Look at this. We're just basically waiting for when they have to throw. Now we're doing a better job getting to the ball, but they're moving people. It's 4 yards. Yeah, at this point, they're like really trying to hide the quarterback. Alex January's in there. Let's see if I can reset this. Mm-mm. Well, this particular video has been giving me fits, so let's see if we can turn down the. All right, I gotta reset it again. Sorry, guys. Gator playing it on YouTube as the game. I haven't had this problem like this for. I mean, granted, I am running a pretty intensive app right now to stream too, so I get it. But we haven't had this type of challenge. I agree, H post. I agree. We definitely want to, and that's what David's been talking about too, right? Is having more of these games, more of these opportunities. I mean, look how many guys have already played in this game. I mean, we just saw Alex Janger in there. I know Sadir's gone to LSU. Multiple linebackers. Kobe Black's been in the game. Ty Anthony Smith got an interception. Warren Roberson's been getting reps at corner, right? So just the mix of guys that are in. Vernon Broughton's now back in the game off of his first half suspension from the Vanderbilt game, which is hilarious. You know, the speed thing, no, we're not as explosive as those teams were before. I agree. At least last season, we're not as explosive. I agree. However, I do think with Arch hitting on some of these things and just being able to get the ball out in space to people, us having a more consistent running game, we will still be able to generate plenty of explosive plays and be regarded as an explosive team. I mean, DeAndre Moore has been getting separation all of this video. He just hasn't caught the ball. We've seen at least 3 times where he's been deep downfield, whether it's in the post or for a go with separation for touchdowns, essentially. So the explosiveness are still going to be there. Ryan Wingo is an explosive player. He's not. Look, think about some of the people we're talking about, right? Matthew Golden at the combine ran 4.29. Xavier Worthy has the fastest 40 ever. Like Isaiah Bond was in the 4.3s. Those are like some of the those are some of the fastest people in the league, period. Same with Jaden Blue. That doesn't mean that we like the guys that are running low 4.4 aren't explosive though. Let's not get it like we're not slow. I want to make that clear. We are not slow. We've just had generational speed. Like people that are top 10 combine performances the last few years. We've been blessed with that. But we don't have, and I'm not, this is not to take any shots at my boy because he was a great Texas Longhorn, but it's not like, I feel like some people are acting like this, like we have a bunch of little Jordan Humphreys that are running 4.8. That's not the case. Like between Parker, Wingo, Moore, Mosley, even the freshmen, these are still 4.4, 4.5 guys, all of them. All of them. So let's not act like there's no explosive. And same with the running backs. I mean, Wisner just broke off a 50-yarder in this game. He didn't get walked down. So, AD Mitchell ran 4.34. Like we've just had dumb speed recently. But I don't think that takes away from what this current group is. I still think this current group is plenty fast, and will have the requisite explosiveness on top of having an explosive quarterback that is going to generate big chunk plays. Period. If we continue to struggle with this, I'm just going to cut it because we're at 42-0. So I mean, it's not like we got to deep dive into the last 20 minutes of this. Whose touchdown are we missing? Yeah, it's 42-0. I don't know. I'll figure out what the issue is. But we can. All right. Maybe try one more time. I mean, I remember when Brennan Eagles was here, when he came in and he had one of the highest spark ratings ever, and then we had the brilliant idea to make him gain 30 pounds of armor. Same thing with JB's always saying what I'm thinking because I was going to go to Ingram next. Keontae Ingram, his first game, or his first year, I should say. I think the closest person you'll have that's running 4.3 like that is probably Butler. If I had to guess. but I don't think that's going to be. I don't think it's going to be. I don't know. I don't think it's. I don't think we're going to feel. It's a luxury again. The speed we've had recently. I think we have some corners that are really really fast, but in terms of running backs and receivers, you know, I think like I said, you're just going to have to generate explosives with. It's just not going to be as sexy as was what Jada Blue is doing. All right, screw this. I'm done with messing around with this thing. We could talk shop for the next few minutes. Yeah, I gave it up. That was. I'm not gonna wrestle with if it was a different game. I would reset and all that type of stuff. Closer game. But for the point of the exercise and the backups that are coming in, it is what it is. So we won what 49-17. Blah blah blah. Now we're talking roster. So do we have guys that don't we have guys that ran 10-2, 10-4 on the roster? On the roster, yes. Ryan Niblett is in that discussion. Wingo was somewhere in that. I don't think he was 10-2, 10-4. I know Parker Livingstone had a really, really good 200. But I don't know, especially with their size and it's a different type of group. I think they're going to be. I think we're going to have guys that are going to be really good after the catch. Um, that are going to be able to potentially do some things that maybe some of the smaller guys we've had not be able to do. So I think it's a give and a take too. But again, if guys are getting all we need is people getting separation like you saw DeAndre Moore getting in this game. Um, if guys are able to get that type of separation on a consistent basis, mainly more, we are fine. We are fine because there's so much you can do off of that. On top of the natural beaters that'll just be in Sark's scheme. Period. I mean, he was scheming Gunnar Helm wide open for shots downfield. Let's not forget that. Now, did we always complete the pass? Not necessarily. But it was interesting. Um, let me see. We so in terms of the other thing about the Florida game that is that we can also that I was thinking about was growing up. And I say growing up, I'm talking about the '90s and 2000s. Florida was that school. Don't get it twisted. Florida was that school. From Spurrier, they had the little down period with Zook, and then they went to Urban Meyer. And at that time, we never got to play them. We really supposed to play them in 2008 if we want to keep it a buck, but the computers had different thoughts. Um, but it would have been cool to match up with Florida at that time. But if Florida's going to get back to anywhere where they were close to that, I don't know if it's going to happen under Billy. We'll see. Him going 8-5 last year is a good step, especially with a freshman quarterback and them having, I would say, the hardest schedule in the country, at least before the season started. I know it changed a little bit because Florida State ended up being unmitigated buckets of ass. But a lot of those, I mean, they still played some really, really good teams throughout their schedule, starting with Cam Ward from game one, right? So they were up against it from jump. He goes 8-5. We'll see what they do this year. But it would be cool to see a top ranked Texas versus a top ranked uh top Florida school. Just one of those things where it's like I think back to if we ever able to get together like 2008. Who has more pressure, Ohio or Texas? In the first game of the season? Hmm. It's a really good question, Mark Vasquez. It's a very good question. Ohio State just did so. If you're going to make the argument for Texas, you're going to. I mean, the pressure is, hey, this is Arch's first road start. Y'all are coming off of a loss. This is supposed to be the revenge game. I do think it would. I do think the pressure is a little bit more on Texas because we are going to be ranked number one. They don't have that thing lingering over their head of you know not winning a natty and anything like that. Not to say that Ohio State fan base is crazy though. Okay, so they're already going to be on old boys behind about getting Michigan this year, but I do think that there will be some grace for Ohio State if it's obvious that Sayin and the offense are going to need a little bit of time to gel, and we expose that in game one. I do think that they'll get some grace there. Whereas with Texas, we are in the spot of getting revenge. We are in the spot of establishing a signature win right off the bat, even before we get into conference play. Um, and just the narrative around Arch Manning just is what it is. Just the narrative that's around him. I do think that all factors in. Now, on the flip side of that, Ohio State's at home. This is a road game. And typically, you know, two highly ranked schools like that, you typically would favor the home team if they're evenly matched. So I don't know. I think this is a rare case where Texas probably has more pressure on them, even as the road team coming in. But it's also a game in August. I don't know. It's a weird big spot for us. It's a weird week one. We've seen nothing. I don't see. That's the thing though. One thing with Ryan Day, Michigan's one thing. That's fine. But I mean, Ryan Day hasn't lost to any of these other schools like that, man. He's been crazy dominant as a head coach in the Big Ten against all these other programs. The only problem he got right now is Michigan, and he just got the natty. Like, this man has an 87% winning percentage. He's 70-10 as the head coach at Ohio State. 70-10. Like, peep this. So, I mean, the dude's record, right, is 13-1, 7-1, and then from 2021 to 2024, he's only lost 2 games each year, and one of those are Michigan. I mean, and then they won a natty. Like, I don't know what else you're asking for. Postseason wise, 2023 is the only year they didn't finish. Okay, 2023 and 2021 are the only year they didn't finish in the top 5 since he's been the head coach. I mean, why would you try to? Why his name even still would even come up at all? with everything they've done in that program. Like somebody's gonna have to take it from them in the Big Ten. Outside of what we do, right? Outside of if we hand them that L, somebody else gonna have to take it because I don't see them losing. And I like Illinois this year. I don't see it happening. I like Damon Williams at Washington. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Florida or what are we talking about? Florida, Arkansas at 5. What are we talking about? I noticed that OU was unranked in the coaches poll. I don't know if anybody else peeped that. Nasty work. You said Kirby was born on third base. Um, oh, the bell to assless. Okay, got you. Did Kirby come into the same situation that Ryan Day came into? I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like what Urban Meyer was doing, they were more dominant than Mark Rick. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I personally thought. I mean, Georgia hadn't won since 1980. They were, but they weren't. They were, they were, but I don't know. I don't think like I don't. I still don't think that's the same third base as Ryan Day coming into onto Ohio State. I don't know. That is true fanaticism. I agree. David Williams. That's true too, JB. That was a different era of ball. See, one thing about college football, this is really unique to college football. NFL, most of these sports are a little bit different in how the eras flow. NFL, there's like right now, for example, I know the Eagles, like it's been the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Ravens are in there, even though they haven't broken through yet with Lamar. It's coming. The Bills, yet they haven't broke, but they're like it's the same people that are contending every year because the NFL to me era wise is about whoever the top quarterbacks are at that time, and that's what it kind of hovers around. Especially, and it's really been like that in the AFC versus the NFC has always been more of the teams. That's just how the NFL is. College football has been totally different. College football, we went from the polls to the computers, and then in that computer era, we had the beginning and advent of the spread and the air raid and mobile quarterbacks like Vince, Tebow, Cam, right? And then we ended up going into the Saban era, right, where the defense is adjusted, where you just had these filthy Alabama defenses, you had these filthy LSU defenses, you had Clemson got nasty. You still had, but they were able to win national championships without. They won a national championship with Jacob Coker for crying out loud. Like they didn't need like of EY to win. Like they won with their defense. Um, and then you had that period like that we went from the computers into the playoff era. And now, Kirby comes along at the end, still in the mid 2000s, but he goes from that defensive era where it's kind of the end of the traditional, playoff system that we have, or the four team, to COVID, to NIL. But he had boosted, his team was so far ahead of everybody else's from that 2018 class that they crushed everybody for a couple years when they went back to back. And now we're in the era of getting out of COVID, and just we're in a completely different era of football now. And I think that's the era where, you know, now Michigan has capitalized, Ohio State has capitalized, hopefully Texas next to capitalize. Like you're starting to see some of the big time traditional big name schools get back to the top that have been away from winning natties for a while. So hopefully we're the next one. But it's interesting. I feel like there's a lot more errors that happen in college football when you really break it up versus when you look at pro football. Just look at the quarterbacks in the conferences. It'll tell you the story of the last 5 years. DJ, yeah. Here's the thing with Lagway, though, Mark. We got to consider. We got to we got to be fair. He played against he played it. Those 7 starts. He went 6-1 as a starter. He played against Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, right? Now Florida State was ass. Tulane was Tulane at that point. And then he started one non-con game. But DJ gets a lot of credit because of who he was doing it against. Like he was balling in the Georgia game before the hamstring injury. He was balling. And then he came back and they won the LSU game. So that's why he's getting, because we saw him, even with the stats not being what they are, we saw him do it against like some NFL players out there. Let's just be honest. So that's why DJ gets that, and the fact that he was already one of, if not the best deep ball throwers in college football last season. Like his efficiency numbers were off the charts throwing the deep ball. Now everything else he was struggling, but when it came to throwing those deep balls in marriage to their run game, which we just saw on the tape we just watched, Florida can run the hell out of the ball with their offensive line. When you marry those two things together, that's why they had that formula. But yeah, you can turn him over. He's not a a guy that's going to run all over the place. He's not really he's a mobile quarterback, but he's not a runner. He's taking shots. He's going to throw the ball. He's pushing the ball downfield. So just that's why he's getting some of that hype, and he did as a true freshman. Here's the thing, JB, with Georgia. This is a big year for Mike Bobo. Okay, because that's an offense. Stetson, looking back at it now, was playing with Pro Bowlers. Think about it. He had Ladd on one side, he had George Pickens on the other, and he had Brock Bowers at tight end. That's before we even get to the backs. That was like, all of them dudes are supposed to be big time fantasy options for their respective NFL teams this year. Those were Stetson's receivers, and he had Todd Monken calling the plays. They had Todd. I think that there has been a big difference between Todd Monken and Mike Bobo at Georgia. I'm not. Bobo's not bad. He's not, because Anthony Hill even said of all the schemes we saw last year, he actually felt that Georgia's was the hardest to defend because their pass and run game stuff was married very, very well conceptually of what they were throwing out there against them. And we saw in the first game, like, Georgia had a really good game plan against us, and it was very timely when they ran certain things against our defense. But I do think that they will try to get closer to what Gunnar Helm, to what Stetson was doing. The question is that I have for Georgia is the guys that they've gotten, the transfer portal guys that they've gotten in there at receiver should be better. They shouldn't lead the country in drops again. But also the guys that were there last, like Dylan Bell, has to get better. Like, you can't drop the football every other play, because he's a really good player when he has the ball in his hands. The biggest thing, though, for Georgia, for me, are they going to get back to running the ball and being a dominant run team or not? Are they going to get back to being? Are they going to get back to being able to be that dominant run team or not? Because that was their secret sauce. Even with those receivers, they're always able to run the football. So that's what we'll see. Michael Sproul, thanks for stopping in. We just have a little chit chat. I'll go for a few more minutes here before I sign off. Yeah, I think Texas can definitely. Yeah, they got Zachariah Branch from USC. I think Texas can definitely get pressure. I don't worry about Texas defensive line pass rushing against anybody's offensive line, especially with PK calling the defense. Um, it's just about, if you're able to run the ball well enough, then you should be able to have something to play action off of. They weren't going to do anything with Warner, even if that wasn't going to happen. They didn't even have the confidence. But I do think we would. I agree with you. I do think we would heat up DJ. I do think we can. It's time to beat them. We've been beating them in recruiting. It's time to beat them on the field. It's time to beat them on the field. Any chance of having post game shows with Tran? I will try to. Um, I think we should. I think we will have Tran for most post games. Um, he's just, like I said, I saw him. I saw him yesterday. He and BA, they started their own ball club, the Silverback Select Gorillas. Uh, but those guys are on the road every week with their teams coaching. So Tran is full blown into the coaching world now. But I will try to get him on for most post games. I just like talking. I don't like just talking myself post game. I think what will happen this year is I am going to be the post game guy for Bleacher Report this year. So if I haven't told y'all that before, woohoo! I will be doing immediate Bleacher Report stuff after, and then for the post for our channel, for my channel, um, always have somebody to talk to. Quentin's been on multiple times. Quentin, you're always welcome to come on with me post game. If Karen's ever in a good spot, Karen can jump on. He's been busy with overtime and got stuff going on, great stuff going on there. If you guys haven't seen Kieran on NFL Network, calling games on TV, calling 7-on-7s, but he still comes into the chat and whatnot. So between the crew, we should have folks to talk with. Nino actually is been really busy in the federal government. Just got promoted to colonel, actually. So he is. I'm really, really proud of Nino. Hopefully we can get him. Even if it's just having some post game thoughts from him. Because I had Nino on a few weeks ago, but he's been really really busy on the federal government side. Life, man, it happens. But all good stuff. Everybody's good, good health, all that. Appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you. The Texas secondary will need to cover and play as a group as they are advertising against Florida. If they do, impact on Florida's play action for sure. Yeah, the linebackers are going to be key in the Florida game too. Agree, because they can't cheat. They're going to have to respect the run. They can't cheat. Like that play action is tough when they run the ball like that with Ball and Jacoby, and then they're coming off and doing a deep bootleg. Like that's what we want to do. Let's be honest. The same thing we want to do with Arch is be able to run the ball, and then when we hit a play action, we got our guy clearing into space because those we're sucking those guys up. Yeah, David. Nino's on the Air Force side. He's on the Air Force side, so he's been doing a lot on the DoD side. This is an interesting question. I think he needs to adjust to. I think PK's natural approach of is like a smarter Todd Orlando, where he also will sit early in a game and kind of figure out what you're doing, like kind of like a boxer, right? I want to kind of time you up the first couple rounds, see what you got, and then I'm gonna start countering or start getting into what my attack is going to be. I think that's how you have to approach Ohio State. To be honest with you, I really do. Um, Especially consider. I mean, I'm saying I'm reluctant to blitz because I do think that early in the game they're going to be kind of safe. A lot of screens, trying to run the ball right. I don't want to be blitzing, trying to get over aggressive, trying to shake the quarterback early, and I'm blitzing myself out of a play. That's where I'm getting at with this. I want to kind of download what they're doing, and that's the whole point of us being so good with our natural edges is we shouldn't have to rely on blitzing, right? For example, let's bring up a sour spot, right? The play that we gave up the 75-yard touchdown on to Travion Henderson was a nickel blitz. Was a nickel blitz. They caught us, and he went right behind Jalen Gilbo, and they were off, and then they had enough people in space, and we took some, Michael Taff, and people took some bad angles, and next thing you know, it's a touchdown. So I'm also like, how effective were we blitzing? In that we haven't watched the game back yet, right? The Cotton Bowl, but how effective were we? Now, to make this more complicated, that was also versus a adjusted Chip Kelly offense, right? Because remember, Chip Kelly was their play caller last year. Then they changed their offense to just spamming counter once they got to the Tennessee game because Michigan Michigan beat them like physically, not by score, physically so badly that they had enough time to do it, but they changed their whole offense. And so they went to this counter based approach and then started building off of that. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting. What will that offense look like with Brian Hartline and Ryan Day in his ear? What will that offense look like? So to me, at least early in the game, with my natural talent, I should be able to sit in base and figure out what they're doing. Even if they're moving the ball a little bit to start out. I'd rather be a little bit conservative, play the run, figure out what they're doing, have my guys play up at the line of scrimmage because I expect them to throw the ball at her. I expect them to try to get easy completions for Julian. I don't think they're just going to come out there and start taking shots with Julian's hand. If they do, and they got those kind of balls, good luck. But, you know, I mean, it was a fluke. Was it a fluke play that they scored a touchdown? Sure. It wasn't a fluke. That was a good play call. They called that screen right against that blitz. That's not fluke. So because here's the thing. If Sark did that to somebody else and dialed up a screen when somebody was blitzing, we would call Sark a genius. So we got to be. That's what I'm saying. When we start talking football and X's and O's and all that type of stuff, we have to be honest. If Sark had dialed up a screen right when somebody is calling a nickel heater like that, and it ended up perfectly where the running back is right behind the dude with all that space, we'd be like, man, Sark saw that one coming a mile away. So I can't then go when somebody does it to us and be like, it's fluke. You know what I'm saying? Now, them scoring, that's crazy. They shouldn't have scored on that. But they called the perfect play to go against that nickel heater. They did. Chip was in his bag. Holding. Hey man. I don't know. I think you might just be a little salty. I don't think they audibled into that. Mm-mm. Again, we have to go back and watch that. I don't think that was a check or anything. I think that they figured we were going to try to get aggressive. You're calling a screen in that situation to see what you can get. That's why you're calling a screen. The thing is, they called it they called it right to the side where the blitz was coming from, so it made it worse. It made it worse. But do you think the red zone woes will be improved this year? Yes. Yes. That was the first thing that Sark was asked at Media Day. That was the first thing that Sark addressed. That was the first thing he addressed because whoever was asking a question had balls and was like, are you guys going to work on your red zone offense? And Sark, I mean, to be fair, when he answered that question, he owned it. He was like, look, the last 2 years we've been eliminated with the ball inside the 10-yard line going to score, needing a touchdown. We didn't score a touchdown. Washington game, Ohio State game. Both years we've been inside the 10-yard line. And so he was talking about that. Like, we got to fix it. Naturally, with the personnel that we have, i.e. the quarterback and what he's able to do with his legs and being, a true dual threat, that 100% helps you. But that's not enough to improve from being 111th in red zone scoring, by the way. I also think that the field goal kicking issue started to get to them psychologically as well. I think it was just a bad mix. When you think about, in the back of your mind, you're worried about shaky kicking. You're inconsistent with your interior push. You don't have a quarterback all the time that can get to the edge or really threaten the defense with his legs. And so now you really have to be able to fit the ball in a really, really tight windows. You want to be like Michigan, bro, like a couple years ago with Blake Corum, and then where you can just move people at will, and then your play action off of that stuff should be naked wide open. You want to be able to do that, but we haven't. That's why. So we're 111th last year. We have nowhere to go but up as far as I'm concerned. I do think just you know Cedric Baxter being back helps that especially as he gets healthier and healthier, hopefully through the season. I think a older Jared Gibson helps you, and then Arch. Also, the fact that we can actually do a QB sneak now too, that'll make a difference. So we were limited too with some things. Yeah, the Ohio State game. The other thing too is they beat us in the biggest situational moments. The timing in the game, right? Um, I mean, when you look back at that game, they started. We started. I think we started with the ball, right? And we moved the ball, but we didn't score. They start with the ball, and I think they got 7 on their first drive. Now we settle in after that, like the middle parts of the game, right? Big chunks of the first quarter, most of the second quarter before the breakdown. Like we settle in, we're fine, right? We're able to stop them. We did a bang up job against Jeremiah Smith. We're not giving up chunk plays. We were pretty disciplined. I don't think we had crazy penalties. But then right before halftime, you give that up, right? Then the end of the game, they're able to drive down and get 7. We are driving to answer the 7 they just got to make it 21-21, right? Because we had scored on the 2 Jaden Blue things. So it's 21-14. It was 14-14. They go down. They score. Okay. They had the ball at the 1-yard line just like we did. They were able to get it in. We get the ball down to the 1-yard line and we can't score. That's the difference. We both had the ball at the end after it was 14-14. They got the ball in. We not only did we not score, we gave up a touchdown. Because think about it. Even if let's say Quinn gets sacked, right, by Jack Sawyer, but he doesn't, but it's not a fumble touchdown. The game's not over. The game's not over. Then it's just, I mean, how many minutes was that? It was like 2 minutes, however many minutes are left, but it's a 1-score game. You're trying to get a stop to get the ball back. The game's not over. That fourth down play was so bad that it ended the whole game because they got a touchdown out of it. Like that's how bad we were in the red zone. We gave up 7 from our own side. That's how bad we were in the red zone. Like even if he just got tackled, okay, the defense comes back out. We're trying to stop them and just get another opportunity. But the game wouldn't have been over. It would have been still 21-14 with 2 minutes or whatever it was. So that's those are the type of things that just it's like that flips the season, right? Now the game's now it's everything's over. Yeah, we literally exactly, Benjamin. We did the opposite of scoring. We gave it up. We gave it up. Oh no, I'm not blaming Quinn for the sack. I'm just saying what happened. I'm not that particular play was Big Cam couldn't move, and he probably shouldn't have been playing. Probably should have been Gooseby in there. He was, but I also get why Big Cam played because it's the college football semifinals. You're trying to be out there, and you think you can go, but it's best on best at that point. You're going against great players. Jack Sawyer was a former 5-star All World recruit who beat him just straight beat him off the snap. But I get why Big Cam was trying to be out there. It was less. Yeah, it was less than a minute to go. It was definitely less than a minute to go. They called that screen pass just to see what they could get. You call a play like that to see if you can pick up 10, 15, 20 yards, not a whole tutty. Because if let's say we blew up the screen, they probably just ice the clock and go into halftime because they don't want to risk turning the ball over. Like you got to think about it psychologically, where they like that game at that point was really a defensive game. That's why I think it's going to be a defensive game again in in Columbus. It was really at that point. It was really a defensive game, both defenses. And then we got aggressive. We dialed up a heater, and they they called a screen behind it. But the players are supposed to help the coach out when he makes a bad play call like that. You can't give up a touchdown. We did run the ball really well against Washington. All right. Hey, look. The good thing with especially if this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and then I'll sign off. The good thing for us is, regardless of how Baxter looks, again, we won't know until we see the brother out there against other people. Right? We're gonna hear what we hear. It's encouraging that he's with the team. It's encouraging that he's practicing. It's encouraging that he's made these strides. Pretty much a full year later, all encouraging signs. He's only gonna get healthier as long as there's no setbacks. But the reliance on him, I am only talking about him early in the season as a complimentary player, not a featured player. If he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. But I don't expect him to be somebody that we really feature until the end of the season. And I think Texas, with the depth that they have in that room, assuming Jared Gibson has made his strides with his ball security and his pass blocking, and Christian Clark is as good as they say he is, if Christian Clark is moving the way that like a baby Bijan, then you don't need to rush CJ. Let CJ heal on his own, especially in September. You can be situational with it. You really can, because you have the depth is there. There should be no reason you're rushing. But that's for them. We won't know until we see him again in line bullets. I know how I feel anytime I see brothers out there wearing the knee brace, the full joint. But you know, um, it's been positive vibes, and it's been positive vibe because he's just a leader in the locker room too. He's already become one of those guys. He is somebody that is looked up to. He's a high character guy. So I get it. Clark went to Germany and got that Kobe center. You would have never known Clark has a had any. I feel like the strides we've made with Achilles is crazy, or if they just figured out something else. Because I mean, look at Kevin Durant. And now he's resumed his career in his mid-30s post Achilles. Durant hurt his Achilles in his 30s. We'll see what happens when Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton come back, but I don't know. It's kind of encouraging to see what people are able to do. Like, not that long ago, it used to be like kind of a death sentence to have an Achilles injury, even when you came back from it. Yeah, Cedric's not going to sign up for this, but I don't. I'm with you. Like if those guys are as good as we expect, then just get all the way back, bro. That's that. I'm with y'all on that. I don't disagree. ACL, we've been making strides. I agree. It's crazy, but the Achilles joints, like, wasn't it Jonathan Gray that had an Achilles? It wasn't his. Wasn't ACL. I thought Jonathan Gray was Achilles. But if you look at, he's a good example of that was like 10 years ago, right? 11 years ago. You look at him, who was a very hard worker, all that. But if you look at Jonathan Gray pre Achilles running at Texas versus what he was that those last couple years at Texas post Achilles is night and day. Is night and day. And what we're hearing with this brother Clark is no drop off. That's just the blessing of medical technology and the medical advances we've made in sports medicine just in the last decade. Just in the last decade that they can get people all the way back up humming on an Achilles. Yeah, 2 years. 2 years is a long time. I agree. That's. I just think that they kind of you manage it during the year, and that's why I said the goal. And look, a lot of people didn't like what I said. I don't think CJ liked what I had to say. Honestly, I really don't. I don't think he liked that video we put out when we said we don't expect them to be 100% until. But I think that's just the reality of what we've seen as all of us watching sport. Like, I'm in my 30s. I very rarely I can, like, it's Adrian Peterson, Jerry Rice that I've seen just like come back from an ACL and the next year they're them. They look the same. Everybody else, it's taken that I've seen, even especially at Texas. It's taken like a year to get comfortable on it, and then that following year they're all the way back. Like, it's taken a little bit to trust it, to cut, to where you don't have to wear the brace. Like, you're just all the way back. I don't know. I mean, that's just off of what I've seen. But we have the luxury of being patient. That's my point. There's no reason why Texas shouldn't be patient with this. If he can play, great. We need it. But if you got these insider guys when they're doing their reports, or you see them on YouTube. Pick a insider, pick a channel. They're mentioning Christian Clark's name first or second with standouts. I mean, that's a big deal, is it not? Like, for the whole team, not just the running back room. They're mentioning Christian Clark is one of the first names coming out their mouths. Multiple people that are seeing this. So anyway, Gilbo's took some time too. Good point. Good point, JB. Very, very good point. Anyway, I will be back. We'll do another video. Hopefully it doesn't mess up on me next time when we do. I think the next one is Arkansas. I'm pretty sure. I think the next one's, I think so we got Arkansas, Kentucky, A&M left. So I am I'm excited to get through this, and keep going as we monitor camp and see where this team looks going into Ohio State. More Ohio State prep. We are doing some collaborations this week with a couple different channels. I'm going on a Miami Hurricanes channel I'm excited about. So a lot of stuff to come. But I appreciate you guys very, very much. Remember, Horns always up. It's free to show love. Hook 'em. Hit the like button. Subscribe the whole bit. Love you guys.